Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with week 2, and we go at it again. This time we're gonna do another kind of box of maximum gold, hoping we can maybe pull that Lagia, or the Dolka, and then we got 4 more packs of the Wild Survivor. Hopefully we can pull the second Xeno, and perhaps maybe finally get a, Meteorus. We'll just have to see if we can pull what we're able to come out with. So I figure we'll go ahead and start with a Wild Survivor. Let's see what we can get here. Lost World. And another one of this fusions, which we don't need. And then we're not really looking for any more rares at this point in the set, so we'll flip over to a maximum gold. Alright, let's see here. We have a number 4 Numeron Gate and a Mystic Mine, a banned Mystic Mine. Otherwise, wouldn't be actually the worst pool, but definitely not something we can use currently. And an upside down card. Very cool. A Rocket Ride. And a number C1000 Numeronius. Abuska is actually pretty good. We'll probably put that to the side and use that at some point. And maybe we can make use of Zeta. Well, probably not going to really be able to actually use Gamma. We can put that to the side. It could be something that can maybe be useful once we get into some of the Yangzing line with access to like level 7s. Second pack of the Wild Survivors. Talismandra. Another Lost World. Okay. Foil glass. Alright. Pencil Plume. Chalice Slime. And a pretty heavy Hungry Burger pack there. So we'll try and switch over to maximum gold. Really searching for, access code or that Dolka. Golden Land Forever also. Pulling, quite a few Eldritch cards. Don't know if that's going to be too much use to us, though. Eva. Bullet Train. And Exodia, the Forbidden one. Also not something I think we're going to get too much use out of, but, that's, I guess, a pretty good pool. And Macabre, I don't know if that holds any value whatsoever, but we'll definitely have to see there. Weather Washer and Roxy's. Alright, let's go back to Wild Survivor. Hopefully we can at least get something we need here. So Giant Rex, pre-prep, another super for Hungry Burger, Fossil Dig, Deck Dev, and a Miscellaneousaurus, and another Hungry Burger card. Alright, just a few packs left here. Let's see if we can end on something. So we have an M7, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. This could be useful at some point. We probably will have access to some 9s if we go into, there's a few plays that we could definitely work with this. So put that to the side. Once we get to the Yangzing, that might come back up here. Well, we have a upgrade, I guess, on UCT. We can play a gold rare if we want instead of just a regular rare, so I guess not the worst there. Altergeist. Lambda would have been nice if Gamma was not currently limited now. And another Lagia. I mean, I'll definitely take it, but really would have preferred to have gotten a Dolka there. And, Summit Limit's not bad. We can definitely put that over here as well for, just some form like going first. So we got 2 packs left here. is see if we can end on at least an ultra rare here. Will we do it? Talismandra, and we do not. So we have Fish Recipe. So nothing out of the Wild Survivor packs this week. Allure of Darkness. And last pack, Maximum Gold. I mean, access code would be nice. You know, we do have a pretty consistent way to spam the board currently, but I think Dolka would probably be preferred at this point in time. Second Microcoder. Rocket Tracer. Urgent Schedule. Sky Striker Ace Rose. So another dud there. Signet Mining. I think that's actually a pretty good rare, so we might be able to trade that. And then number 81, put that to the side because we actually, it's not the main one we would want to use, but I think we can actually use this to go into the rank 11 train that we pulled last week. So, and since UCT is level 10, definitely maybe we'll make use of that. So not the best of them, but definitely something we definitely can add. We do have a few things that we can do for this next week, but not the best pools, but, you know, second Laggy is not the worst. So, yeah, we'll see in the deck building, and we'll go from there. Alright, what's going on, guys? So we're just going to quickly go over some trades before we hop into the updated deck profile. Most of these changes here that we have traded are going to be some of the, maybe most of the changes in the deck, but we'll just do a quick kind of deck profile here at the end. So we do have two trades. So we did trade some of our Vanquished Soul cards that we got. So for the Heavy Boger, I got a play set of Scrap Raptor, but these are the two that are going to go in the deck for now, plus the Scrap Chimera. I know I still have like a few maximum gold boxes to open, so if we pull it, you know, that's fine that we get a duplicate. I just thought this deck really needed kind of a little bit of a power level jump now, so might as well trade for it. We open one, cool. If not, then we have this now. So I tried to, you know, save a little bit of value so I could get some other cards, but they didn't have a gold one, and they had most of everything else that we really needed, so I thought it was fine to kind of overtrade for a secret rare Dolka. You know, really just trying to obviously, you know, be able to keep this within something. So it was a little unfortunate, but I thought like this deck really needed the Dolka. So again, if we pull that in the maximum gold, that's fine. Secure Gardener, let's explain a little bit why we wanted this at this point for the second trade. Cross Sheep, this is a little bit looking to the future. We're going to play it now because it's, you know, generic link 2, but currently it doesn't have any application until we have like a Xeno, a ground Xeno to go with it. And then finally a really good, you know, inboard, we have a Borreload, Savage Dragon. This is going to be really helpful for us for establishing a good going first board. I think we're going to still maybe lean towards a going second deck. We'll just see how that goes today, but we do have more of a going first option, so I do like that overall. From there, we do have our second trade with, we traded the Vanquished Soul, the Caesar, for Link Karibo and Appaloosa. So honestly, all these changes together I think are going to really make a pretty big impact here in week 2 for this deck, and I hope that we are able to kind of show off, have a better showing. So I'm just going to quickly go over the deck profile here, and then we'll definitely be able to take this deck to locals and see how we do. Alrighty guys, so here is the main deck. We only had a few changes. So one of the big changes is we did bump it up to 41 cards. So the only 3 changes that ended up going into the deck were the 2 Scrap Raptor and the Scrap Chimera. So bumping up to 41 meant that we only took out 2 cards. We did go down a Petite, and because we went down a Petite, I thought going down on a Lithosagem made sense. We did bump up our Earth count overall, so, or I guess in a way kept it the same because we did take out a Lithosagem and a Petite, and we switched those out for a Scrap Raptor, but we technically went up because we do have the Scrap Chimera, so I thought that made more sense just because Lithosagem is nice, but especially in more of a going second build, it's not going to be hugely impactful. So if we keep the blind going second build, I think eventually Lithosagem will probably, you know, go out of the deck completely. But if we do transition more to like maybe a going first, I could see maybe bumping that back up to 3 at some point. But for now, we did bump that down to 2. It's the only change we made in the main deck. You know, I still really like the going second, like board breakers plus Ash. you know, had some really good success against, you know, Kashtira specifically, which is obviously going to be the best deck still this format. So having that success with those cards, I'm pretty happy now that we have a little bit easier way to, you know, push for games. So we'll quickly go over the extra deck and side deck. Alright guys, so quickly going over the extra deck and side deck. So for the side deck, it was a pretty simple change. We took out the Econ, which those were never going to come up for us, I don't believe. And we switched it out for some things that I think are going to be, you know, okay for us. We put in the Petite and the Lithosagem that we took out from the main, you know, in case we want them back. I don't know how long that's going to stay. I think as we kind of build up our side deck, obviously these will kind of just fall off. But then the summon limit, that was pretty nice. You know, would probably prefer to have like a play set of some of these traps, but for now, you know, just being able to bring in a bunch of like one-of traps, I don't think is the worst until we can start like trading for like some play sets of some of these things. Moving on to the extra deck, there was a lot of changes here. We dropped the Wind Charmer just because we have very few wind targets, and most of them are actually the only really two that we consistently are going to see are going to be in the extra deck, being the Transcendrake and the Appaloosa. We do have Godarla, but the odds of us summoning Godarla on our side is going to be very low. So that's going to be the reason why we dropped that there. We're keeping the Earth Charmer, though, because we did see some application against Kashtira week 1, and, you know, things like Super Heavy Samurai are all Earth, so keeping those around, I think, is a pretty good idea. Cross Sheep is just here really now for now. It can come up, I guess, if we want to up our attack and, you know, like lower their attack with some of the XYZ and Synchro effects for Cross Sheep, but really that's just going to get more application once we get a Ground Xeno. We did drop the Rafflesia down to 1. I don't think it's going to be a huge inboard for us, but having some generic rank 4s that don't require dinos is going to be pretty good for us, especially since we have access to like Scrap Chimera. Same with Baguska, that's really just there if we are going to be absolutely bricked. Link Kribo and Secure Garden are going to ensure that we're going to be bricked less often, because that's obviously going to give us access to a non-dino engrave to be able to go into UCT. And then from there, we did obviously bump the Lagia up to 2, just because we did pull a second one, and it's a pretty decent card. The 1 Dolka, maybe try to get that up to 2 eventually, but I think 1 is fine. And then we obviously took the Transcendrake 1 down to 1 from the 3, just because we do obviously have a bunch of better cards to play at this point. So really excited for this. Definitely going to, you know, take this to locals here tonight and see how things play out. Hopefully they end up a lot better than they did the previous week, although did have a lot of good signs even for week 1, but I will kind of see y'all in the match and we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, so we're kicking off game 1 here. We do win the dice roll, but we do elect to go second. Opponent starts out by activating Raisin, so we do know immediately this is at least some form of Vanquished Soul variant. Don't have Ash, so they're going to be able to kind of do everything they want on their turn, but, you know, do have a few things here interacting going second, and have a pretty good hand overall. I think I'd hard drew the Misk if I'm remembering here, but overall, pretty decent hand. You know, they're just kind of going through their standard combo lines. They do reveal a Kaiju, so I do know that I want to try and finish this game as quickly as possible, just so on the crackback, if they do happen to survive, not going to let them be able to, you know, get rid of any monster or anything like that. So they're going through their little combo. They do get out the Caesar, and then they do bring out the Heavy Borger for Raisin. And, you know, it's going to allow them to draw a few cards here, so pretty good overall for them. But overall, the, you know, kind of like inboard for Vanquish Souls is very like a mid-game, so I think it plays very, you know, well into what we want to do with this Dino deck, and, you know, as long as they don't have any form of like Spell Trap negation, usually are going to be able to, you know, deal with their board overall, so they are resolving the Stake Your Soul, get the Caesar back to hand, and then they do pass turn here. We draw into our 6th card, and Of course, with the heavy Borger, they are going to get the draw. And then, yeah, from there, just kind of like thinking about like how I want to do. They do have 7 cards in hand, so I'm a little bit worried that they maybe have drawn into, some form of hand trap, but, as long as they don't have an Ash Blossom, we know that graveyard effect of Misk is going to go pretty well for us. So we do start off by activating Lost World, to which they do respond by bringing down the Caesar for the heavy Borger, which I think was fine. I kind of expected they were going to try and get that out as long as they could start doing some things on here, but I was a little surprised that they were immediately destroying the Lost World, but I do understand wanting to get rid of like any like targeting protection that the token brings, so I guess it makes sense, but it still seemed like it was a little bit too like shotgunned there. But pretty much with the only interruption I think that they had out of the way, we do activate Misk in hand, and the only thing that really worries me here at this point is if they do happen to have that Ash Blossom, but they say it's okay, so we pretty much just are able to go through our full combo, and honestly at this point I feel like the game is pretty much over. We do have a baby in hand, so going to be able to pretty much execute our full combo here, and as long as they don't have anything else that could possibly trip us up, we have pretty much the good to go on finishing out this game here. From there we do bring out the Overraptor. Overraptor, we are going to grab another baby, or I guess Petite in this case. So we can go ahead and normal the Petite, use Overraptor's effect, we can pop the Petite, and then we can bring back the baby. Petite is going to get us into one of the new additions for the deck, and one that I'm very happy that we do have access to now in Scrap Raptor. Now we can go Scrap Raptor targeting baby. For here, a lot of times we do have to bring out a baby off of a baby for, Scrap Wyvern's effect, but since they do have a monster on board, we can actually just go jump straight into the Giant Rex. And from there, I kind of do quick overlay into Dolka just in case. I was starting a little bit worried that maybe they did have something, just because they had so many cards in hand that I would rather be a little bit safer, and I was able to see that I still had like line for game as long as they weren't able to deal with anything here. But as soon as they just kind of start letting the scrap combo go through, felt pretty good that we were going to be able to finish the game out here. So we are going to add the Scrap Chimera, and we do have the second Scrap Raptor in deck. So finishing out the Wyvern, we do go to pop the Caesar. I think it's had some questions on whether or not it targeted, but yep, it just destroys on resolution, so they would already let us do that. So do destroy the Caesar, we add the Wyvern, and they are going to chain an interesting tech for this deck in the Abomination Prison. And yeah, so they do chain the Abomination Prison after just some questions on, because I know it's like it can only be special summon once, but I think it like can be activated a number of times. I just couldn't remember if it could activate in the graveyard. We do decide here to chain Dolka to destroy, so it does not get its summon, and it can't activate again from graveyard. So I mean, not that they were going to have anything else on field to begin with, so felt good eventually there to be able just to Dolka it. But yeah, there was just like a few questions because it has a little bit weirdly worded card. Alright, so we do finish out by Going ahead with the effect of Scrap Chimera with the additional summon here. We do bring back the other Scrap Raptor. And from here, we are going to use one of the Scrap Raptors and Scrap Chimera to go into Appaloosa. So again, just kind of further protecting us from, yes, anything, but more so just to clear up some board space. We do go the Double Evolution Pill. Going to banish the Giant Rex and the Chimera, and here they pretty much just see that, I mean, we have almost pretty much game on board at that point, so they're just going to kind of scoop it up, and we'll go into game 2. Overall, pretty good showing game 1 against a meta deck, or, you know, I guess what hopefully probably going to be meta deck, so we'll go and hop into game 2 here. Alright, so yeah, we move on here to game 2. He does make me start. I think they realize that it's more of a going second strategy with dinos. So we do have a pretty good hand. We do start with Oviraptor. They allow it to go through, so we are able to add Misk at this point, which is definitely going to insulate kind of the rest of our plays here, so feel pretty good. We do already have access to a baby in hand, so as long as they don't have Ash Blossom here, I feel really good about this game and then this match overall. So we do go the effect of Misk, and for the second game in a row, they do not have anything for it, so that works out pretty nicely. We do go into the Archosaur. We have the baby in hand, so that is going to get us the Double Evolution Pill. Plus, with the effect of baby, we are going to be able to go into, I believe we go into another Petite. Yeah. So here we can go the effect of Oviraptor, popping that Petite to bring back the baby. And then we are going to go Petite effect to grab us out the Scrap Raptor. We can link away the Archosaur for the link repo that we have now, and that is going to obviously give us access to a non-dino. We can go the Raptor effect, popping the baby. So now here in this situation, since our opponent does not have anything on board, we are going to need to first go into another baby. We can link away the Wyvern, or the Raptor into the Wyvern. We are going to go bring back the Scrap Raptor. We're going to pop the Scrap Raptor, and then we go the effect of Raptor and Wyvern. Bringing out the other Raptor, popping the baby. We do get the Chimera, and then Resolution. That does allow us to activate the effect of baby. And baby is going to bring us out the Giant Rex. We can just go ahead and use the additional normal summon of the Chimera to bring back the Raptor. And we can go Chimera, the Giant Rex, and the Wyvern into Appaloosa. So do have a 3 negate Appaloosa here on board. And then from there, we are going to go ahead and start out by synchroing for 8. So since we do have the Wyvern in grave, that is going to give us a 2 negate Borreload Savage. And then lastly, we can go ahead and activate that Double Evolution Pill, banishing the Giant Rex, and we do elect to go the Scrap Chimera. And that is just going to get us out the UCT, and it will bring back the Giant Rex. So that is going to give us another either rank 4, or I guess we could do another synchro, but we don't have one at the moment. So that is just going to go into a Dolka here for us. So yeah, I was kind of deciding, I think, between either Lagia or Dolka, but I think I was realizing that a lot of the effects in this deck are monster effects, so decided we did want the Dolka and do pass there. Also have an Ash Blossom in hand, so feel pretty good about anything that they may have. They do activate Durandal, and maybe in hindsight this would be the moment that I could have Ashed, but I thought, the odds of them having, that 3 of starter were pretty good, and that was probably maybe just a bait to see if I would activate anything here, so I decided to let it go. Didn't really think that it would punish me too bad if I did, just because, if I didn't want them to add anything, I could just really kind of go from there. Might as well just let them commit to their normal with it. And they are going to actually start out from there, and they are going to drop the Radiant Kaiju over the Dolka, which makes sense. So obviously, since Appaloosa does not destroy, it makes more sense to get rid of the one that does for monster effects. So we do now have a Kaiju. From there, they are going to normal summon the Raisin, attempt its effect, and we are going to use Appaloosa here. Or no, we do Ash this, that's right. So from there, they are going to activate the Caesar in hand, and this would be the one that we do negate with Appaloosa. So they do bait out the negate that does take the Appaloosa down from the 2400 to 1600, so it does put it at risk of being run over by the Raisin. Once we do kind of finish resolving that, they do make a move to go to battle phase, so I do use the UCT, popping the Kaiju to flip the Raisin. Was kind of just hoping that they wouldn't have any kind of additional follow-up here, but they do have the... we're able to bring out this guy here. With the 3k attack, it is going to take out the Appaloosa, so we do lose the 2 kind of monster negates, but honestly, it doesn't end up being too much, since that is actually just where they end their turn. So they do have a few cards in hand, but, from that point, it's just kind of really wrapping it up. They do go to try and activate its effect to, put something back, but that is where we can just kind of bore load negate, so really they're just going to be ending here with what they have. And then we do have a starter in hand, so really it's just kind of hoping they don't have too much interruption. I was just double checking. I didn't think that it was a quick effect, but better be safe than sorry. So, yep, since it's just during their turn, I'm pretty confident that they're not going to have anything that's going to be able to get through the 1 negate that we have. Just taking some time to think about how we wanted to get game on board. We were pretty much there, but yeah, we do go ahead and start out by switching the UCT to attack. And then we do normal another Oviraptor. And we can go ahead and use its effect. Believe we're just going to grab a second UCT here. And then that just really is just going to put pretty much lethal on board for us. Yep, so we just grab the second UCT. We can just go ahead use the effective UCT. We did have Frostosaurus in hand, so that wasn't going to do anything with for us. Bring out the second UCT with 2 dinos. We're going to just use the Giant Rex, and I think we just used an Archosaur from the beginning. And that is going to bring back out the Giant Rex. And then we are just going to make a Lagia here since we do only have the one Dolka currently. But the Lagia, that was just in case we run into anything that I wasn't expecting and need to kind of do some follow-up. Plus it does a little additional damage. So we do go to battle phase here. Obviously UCT can, or one of them can take out both of the set cards and do some damage. So we are going to start with that, first by running over the Raisin. It does obviously send without flipping it up, so it'll take 1,000 there. We'll do the same thing to the other monster, sending it for another 1,000. And then we do have 3850 with Bore Load. And then we do have the last bit of damage there with the other UCT. So pretty good game overall, 2-0 here. And then, alright, so there we go at the end of week 2. It was a pretty good week overall. We ended up finishing 2-1. Match that we lost, it was a mirror match against Dino. Game 3 felt really good, had a lot of good board breakers, and then they flip anti-spell. So, that happens. We really had everything we needed to break there. Kind of like subpar, in board there. But, anti-spell, that's a game winner on its own. Didn't have anything, obviously, currently in the list to deal with it. So hopefully we're able to pull some form of spell trap destruction. But, yeah, we kind of go in again. 2-1, still pretty happy. Finished 4th overall. So looking to kind of build on that deck moving into week 3. And we'll see y'all then.